You came out to earn your respect and you did that. You earned your respect today, man. I couldn't be more proud.
I don't think anybody really needs reminding, but a team doesn't win without a good coach. The players can't do all the work. They need their general looking out for them and steering them in the right direction. There are 5 new NFL head coaches for 2023, 3 of whom who have never held the head coaching position before, and 8 who are entering their second seasons with their respective clubs. Quite a bit of head coach turnover over the last 2 years, and then you have guys who might be lifers until they decide to retire. With that said, let's dive into our annual rankings for all 32 NFL head coaches for 2023, from worst to first.
He's made a lot of improvements. He's been very aggressive out there throughout 10 practices. And
Number 32, Jonathan Gannon, Arizona Cardinals. Gannon's 2-year stint as the Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator landed him his first head coaching gig. He really has his work cut out for him as the coach of football's least talented roster that'll open the year without Kyler Murray. Hey, good luck out there, coach. Number 31, Shane Steichen, Indianapolis Colts. Steichen helped unlock Justin Herbert in La La Land before joining the Eagles in 2021, where he then spent 2 years as their OC. Steichen turned Jalen Hurts into a superstar QB who nearly led Philly to its second Super Bowl championship. Steichen, like Gannon, has a challenge in working with a limited amount of talent here in Indy. And, of course, working with a rookie QB. Number 30, Matt Eberflus, Chicago Bears. Eberflus's first year was a complete disaster, with Chicago finishing as football's worst team thanks to the league's worst scoring D. The Bears have to show immense improvement for Eberflus to get a third year here in Windy City. Number 29, DeMeco Ryans, Houston Texans. Absolutely loved the Ryans hiring for Houston after his brilliant 2-year run as the San Francisco 49ers DC. His defensive wizardry of a mind and energy should lead to special things in H-Town. But right now, we can't really rank him higher. I mean, he's never held a head coaching position, and it's going to take some time for things to come together with this rebuilding franchise. Number 28, Dennis Allen, New Orleans Saints. We would have understood if the Saints fired Allen, who now owns a 15-38-0 record as an NFL head coach. But we also kinda understand why they're giving him another year after watching the 2022 season go to waste because of injuries and a depleted roster. Without a doubt, though, the Saints will have to make the postseason or finish with a winning record for Allen to keep his job. Number 27, Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The transition from Bruce Arians to Todd Bowles was a disaster that nobody could have expected. In some ways, it's surprising that the Bucs let Bowles fire a bunch of assistants while keeping him in charge on the sidelines. Bowles is 35-50-0 as a head coach. If the Bucs aren't a playoff team in 2023, he'll likely be shown the door. And we dare say that he won't have another head coaching position after this. Yeah, most likely gonna be an assistant role the rest of the way. Number 26, Josh McDaniels, Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders' offense was actually better under McDaniels in 2022 than the 2021 group. But hey, results are results. Vegas regressed by 4 wins and missed out on the postseason despite all-world play from Devontae Adams and rushing champion Josh Jacobs. McDaniels' horrible stints in Denver also factored into these rankings. He was a great OC in New England, but another losing season in Sin City will send him out the door and back into the assistant coaching world. Permanently. Number 25, Ron Rivera, Washington Commanders. The glass half full view? Rivera has a .450 winning percentage in Washington without a stable QB option and with a horrible owner in Dan Snyder. The glass half empty view? The Commanders haven't had a winning season under Riverboat Ron. Yeah, new owner John Harris won't hesitate to fire the 4th-year head coach if the Commanders fail to miss the postseason for a 3rd straight year. Number 24, Robert Saleh, New York Jets. Saleh turned the Jets' defense into a juggernaut last year, finishing 4th in scoring. It's also impressive that he squeezed 7 wins out of a team with 3 different starting quarterbacks. Saleh has had a pretty good rep in Gotham, but you also have to think that he'll be fired if the Jets don't finish with a winning record in 2023. I mean, the Jets traded for Aaron Rodgers to win immediately, not to disappoint again. Number 23, Arthur Smith, Atlanta Falcons. Getting 7 wins out of a not-so-talented Atlanta roster with mediocre QB play in back-to-back years is utterly impressive. But with the NFC South wide open, you gotta think that Smith's Falcons need to go above 500 if he's to earn a 4th year here. After 2 up-and-down seasons, it is time for Smith's Falcons to start flying higher. Number 22, Brandon Staley, Los Angeles Chargers. Staley's in-game management has been oftentimes pretty painful to watch. See the Bolts blowing a 27-0 lead to Jacksonville in the wildcard round. Yeah. But, I mean, you can only critique a coach with back-to-back winning seasons so much. Staley coached the Chargers to their first playoff appearance in 4 years. But you also gotta think anything less than a trip to the divisional round will probably lead to his dismissal. Number 21, Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns. The 2020 Coach of the Year has endured back-to-back losing seasons in the land, making 2023 the make-or-break year for him. Stefanski has a full year of Deshaun Watson now, and GM Andrew Berry went great lengths to add more pieces on both sides of the ball. Stefanski is going to have to take this team back to the postseason if he's to buy a fourth year on the job. Number 20, Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys. Might feel a little bit weird putting a former Super Bowl winning head coach here, considering he's led Dallas to consecutive 12-win seasons. But I think it's fair to wonder if McCarthy is really a good coach or just the beneficiary of coaching good teams. Aaron Rodgers has done well without McCarthy, and Dak Prescott was a star well before McCarthy arrived. Now, it is Super Bowl or bust every year in Big D, but is McCarthy's job really in jeopardy? Well, I mean, Jerry Jones kept Jason Garrett around for 10 years, so I guess stay tuned to find out. Number 19, Kevin O'Connell, Minnesota Vikings. KOC helped Kirk Cousins play at a borderline MVP level and fully unlock the potential of this star-studded mini offense. That said, Minnie's promising 13-win season ended with a one-and-done outing in the playoffs, so O'Connell made a good first impression in Minnie, but 2023 will be deemed a disappointment if the Vikings don't win at least one playoff game. Number 18, Frank Reich, Carolina Panthers. Reich was fired by Indy in the midst of 2022 after failing to make it worth with Matt Ryan as his QB. But maybe Colts GM Chris Ballard should have given him a young QB to work with instead of all those past their prime dudes? I don't know, just a thought. Reich was once viewed as a top 10 coach in football. He can rebuild that status if he can unlock the potential of first overall pick Bryce Young. Number 17, Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions. This was supposed to be a painful, long-term rebuild in Detroit. But the ultra-motivator in Campbell led the Lions to a 9-win season in year 2, marking their first winning campaign in 5 years. Yeah, Campbell can coach all right. GM Brad Holmes repaid him by adding the likes of CJ Gardner-Johnson, David Montgomery, Cam Sutton, and Emmanuel Mosley in free agency. Having more talent to coach with in Motown than ever before, Campbell could very soon make his case as a top 10 coach in the game. Number 16, Mike McDaniel, Miami Dolphins. In his first year as a head coach, McDaniel turned Tua Tagovailoa into a star and led the Dolphins to their first postseason appearance in 6 years. Almost equally impressive, he nearly coached Miami to a mega upset over the Buffalo Bills in the wildcard round with a third stringer at QB. Tua was the NFL leader in QB rating and yards per completion. If he's healthy throughout the entire year, then I think Miami's gonna contend in the loaded AFC. Number 15, Brian Daboll, New York Giants. Daboll took over a not-so-talented Giants squad and turned them into a playoff club that reached the Elite Eight. That is a testament to his coaching and leadership ways. He turned Daniel Jones into a stud and a $160 million man. With Jalen Hyatt, Paris Campbell, and Darren Waller joining the Giants offense, we are very excited to see what Daboll does in year 2 with Jones. Number 14, Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers. Look, you can't ignore the major step back the Packers took in the final year with Aaron Rodgers. LaFleur obviously thinks the world of Jordan Love, but he better be right on this one. If Love doesn't get it going within the next 2 years, LaFleur will go down as a coach who looked better than he was because of a great QB. Number 13, Sean Payton, Denver Broncos. Payton was a consensus top 5 or 10 coach during his final years with the Saints. Now we wait to see if he can be like Andy Reid and write another Hall of Fame-like chapter with his second team. Payton was brought in to fix Russell Wilson after a disaster-filled 2022 season under Nathaniel Hackett. The Broncos don't exactly have to make the playoffs in 2023 for Payton to buy himself long-term job security, but he does have to show that coaching was the problem in Denver last year and not Wilson himself. Number 12, Mike Vrabel, Tennessee Titans. 4 winning seasons, 3 playoff berths, and a trip to the 2019 AFC title game sort of speaks for itself. Vrabel has turned this franchise into a consistent playoff contender, which is amazing considering the lack of all-star talent outside of Derrick Henry. Yeah, the Titans imploded by losing their final 7 games last year, but Tennessee would have won the division if Ryan Tannehill was healthy. If the Titans flop again in 2023, then you can start to question Vrabel a bit. But so far, there's been way more good than bad in Music City. Number 11, Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals. There wasn't much of anything to like in Taylor's first 2 years as the Bengals head coach. Fast forward to 2023, and his Bengals are coming off consecutive AFC North Division crowns and AFC Championship appearances. Yeah, it turns out this guy can coach after all. Honestly, it would take a catastrophe of a season for Taylor to lose his job. His magic with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins does not go unnoticed. A Super Bowl appearance would certainly propel Taylor into the top 10 next year. Number 10, Doug Peterson, Jacksonville Jaguars. Peterson coached the Eagles to a Super Bowl title with a backup QB, but was fired 3 years later. Taking 1 year off worked out just fine for Peterson, who actually did incredible things with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars in his first year here. The Jaguars won their final 5 games to lock down the AFC South. They erased a 27-point deficit over the Bolts in the wildcard round and gave the Chiefs a run for their money in the divisional round, losing by just a touchdown. In other words, we'd say Peterson is an upgrade over Urban Meyer. Honestly, we can't wait to see what the Jaguars do for an encore with the Peterson-Lawrence tandem. Number 9, Sean McVay, Los Angeles Rams. Sorry, but one losing season in 6 years ain't enough to keep McVay out of the top 10. The Rams were crushed by injuries in their Super Bowl defense season, where absolutely nothing went right. If the Rams are an afterthought again in 2023, McVay will fall well out of the top 10. But a coach with 2 NFC championships, 4 playoff appearances, and a Super Bowl ring before his 37th birthday is not a person to scoff at. Number 8, Pete Carroll, Seattle Seahawks. Carroll cemented himself as a Hall of Famer, if he wasn't already, by turning Geno Smith into a star, just when everyone thought that Seattle was doomed following the Russell Wilson trade. Yeah, 2022 was a year full of pleasant surprises in Seattle. Following some major offseason reinforcements, Carroll is doing some great work in the Northwest. Number 7, Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers. Will the Mike Tomlin criticism end already, please? The Steelers haven't had a losing season since 2003. Newsflash, he's been there since 2007. The Steelers were 3-7 last year and then finished with a winning record and only missed out on the postseason because of a tiebreaker to Miami. Tomlin's going to the Hall of Fame. Honestly, we kind of wish the unnecessary criticism would end. Man's good. Number 6, Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills. Buffalo has made the postseason 5 times under McDermott, who has also coached them to 3 straight division titles. However, he's also the only coach in the top 11 who has yet to coach his team to a Super Bowl appearance. We love all McDermott has done in turning Josh Allen and company into must-watch TV. But another early playoff exit will lead to calls for the Bills to replace him. Number 5, Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia Eagles. 2 years of Sirianni, 2 playoff appearances, and a Super Bowl berth. Yeah, we think this guy knows a thing or two about coaching. Sirianni made Jalen Hurts an MVP caliber QB and quickly restored the winning culture in Philly following the departure of Doug Peterson. Up next, unfinished business. Time to bring back that Super Bowl after losing it on a cheap penalty call. Number 4, John Harbaugh, Baltimore Ravens. This future Hall of Famer got the Ravens back into the playoffs despite losing Lamar Jackson for the final 5 games of 2022. When Jackson is the starting QB, Harbaugh is 45-16-0, which, we consider a pretty good record. Not to mention, this guy won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco of all guys. Harbaugh is headed to Canton. Anything he accomplishes from here is just gravy. Number 3, Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco 49ers. How many coaches would lose their 2 main quarterbacks with season-ending injuries, take a 3rd stringer and Mr. Irrelevant, make him a star, and go to the NFC Championship game? Yeah, I'm not sure how many, but we do know that Shanny did it. Shanahan gets some hate for disappointing playoff results, but 3 NFC Championship game appearances in 4 years is nothing to laugh at. Number 2, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots. We're not fully pardoning Bill Belichick for 2 losing seasons and 0 playoff wins since Tom Brady's departure, but it's unfair to hate too much on the greatest coach in NFL history with 6 Super Bowl rings. If the Pats bounce back in 2023, all criticism about Belichick will hopefully go away for good. But another losing season? Well, maybe Robert Kraft makes the mistake by firing him and watches Belichick work his magic elsewhere. Number 1, Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs. Alright, Reid doesn't have Belichick's 6 rings, but he does have 10 winning seasons in 10 years with the Chiefs, 9 playoff berths, 5 AFC Championship appearances, 3 conference title banners, and of course, 2 Super Bowls. Reid's work with Patrick Mahomes is a sight to behold. I mean, these two have only made NFL history together. And to think, it's only been 6 years of this partnership. KC is the golden standard of modern football. Mahomes is the NFL's best player, and Reid is the NFL's best coach. Pure and simple. But But what changes would you make to our NFL head coach rankings for 2023? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.